you are a first-time viewer. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscribes, and your bookings for personal readings. This is a general message, so take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. Do not take it personally. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find that information in the description box below. So let's get into the message. The message that I received today is overwhelmed and underserved, right? So the energy almost feels like there is like you're being stretched, right? Almost to your limits, right? Where you feel like you're pouring yourself into so many different areas. Maybe you're putting in effort in many different aspects within yourself, within your life, within something you're trying to create. It could be that you're just feeling tired, right? Like you're just feeling like you're not getting enough rest. Or it just can just feel like you're being like overlooked in a sense is what I am sensing, right? So let's pull some cards to see what comes out regarding this message. Help me to articulate a clear and concise message in order for it to be received in the way that you want it to best be received. Help me to see what it is that I need to see to get the message across as clear as possible. And help me to deliver any messages that you deem worthy in order to serve your highest good, for the highest good of humanity with harm to none. What message do you have for the collective at this time? It could also be that you feel as if you are putting in like a lot of effort for little to no reward, right? You feel as if you're not receiving as much as you are putting into, right? It feels like there is an imbalance. You're being stretched beyond your capacity. You are maybe learning many lessons at one time, maybe gaining insight in many different perspectives at one time, and you're having a hard time processing the meaning and gaining a full understanding of each perspective that you're gaining, right? But there's definitely the energy here of like an imbalanced effort, an imbalanced energy of give and take, right? So let's pull some cards, see what comes out. What message do you have for the collective at this time? So you have storms, harvest, right? Again, overwhelmed and underserved, right? It came right out. One more card. It feels like there's like a lot of pressure, something building up. Give me one more card. Ooh, too many. One more. Giving and receiving. I literally just said there's an imbalanced effort within what you're putting into and the effort that you're receiving, with soul forgiveness at the bottom of the deck. So again, the energy here is very clear. It feels as if you're putting in a lot of effort. You are giving a lot of yourself. You are pouring into yourself in a certain aspect or into like a certain project, a certain person, a certain idea, a certain way of living, right? But it almost feels as if things are not happening, or you feel as if you're not receiving the growth from these efforts in the time that you are desiring to receive them here, right? But this soul forgiveness at the bottom of the deck is definitely giving me the energy here of learning to have grace with yourself, right? If you feel as if you are putting in way too much effort, then take a step back and acknowledge the areas in which you feel as if you're not receiving, right? And fulfill those areas for yourself, right? Because the universe only expands what it is that we pour into it, right? So if you pour into the idea that you don't have enough, if you pour into the idea of the fact that you don't have enough time, or you feel as you are like feeding your negative thoughts, the universe is going to continuously show you those negative thoughts, right? It's going to continuously show you and put you in experiences that prove to you that you don't have enough, right? It's going to continue to stretch you thin because that is what you're feeding, right? That's what you're pouring into. So the universe is not going to give you anything that you have not invested in consciously, whether that be consciously or subconsciously, right? Because sometimes we invest in things subconsciously without intentionally knowing what we are putting effort towards, right? Or what it is that we're feeding, right? Because there's just so many moving parts to manifesting, right? That's why it's not something that, I mean, it is something that everybody has the ability to do, but also not, because it just requires so many different moving parts to it. And it does get tiring because things do not appear when you want them to. They appear at the moment that they need to, at the right time, right? Divine timing. That is a real thing. Things appear not when you want them to, but when you need them the most, right? When they are most ripe for the picking, right? Just as if like when you plant an apple tree, it takes years before that tree even starts to fruit, right? You're not going to plant an apple tree and get apples within the first 3 years, right? It takes 3 to 5 years to at least see the efforts of that labor. So keep that in mind whenever you're investing into anything, right? Don't do it or don't invest in something out of hopes of simply receiving the reward, right? Do it just simply for the joy, right? Do it simply because it brings you a sense of fulfillment. Do it because it's simply just something that you want to do, even if it's not something that you will receive a reward from, right? So definitely be mindful of your intention in what you're trying to receive, right? Not trying to rush the process, but giving yourself grace to grow throughout the season, and so that you are able to receive the abundant harvest that you are seeking, right? But again, the universe only magnifies what it is that you invest in, not when you want it, but when you need it. So clarify storms. As well. Let me get the cards together. Give me one card for storms. Okay, so you have the Knight of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, the Judgment with the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So there's something that you're going to be learning, something that you are gaining insight about, something that is this storm or this lesson or this feeling of being overwhelmed and stretched out is trying to serve you some type of perspective that you are not currently seeing, right? There's something that is trying to teach you about the mannerisms that you take on when you choose to bring something to life, right? When you're trying to produce something, when you're trying to serve a purpose within some sort of creation, right? So again, the storms card here. So let me just try to put this into words the best way I know how, right? Storms, usually serve like the purpose of clearing out something, right? It is a time of cleansing. It is a time of purifying, right? That's why the air usually feels so light after it rains or after a storm, right? Because storms cleanse the energy. It purifies the bad things that are in the air, right? So by experiencing this storm, in a sense, you are gaining some new insight, right? Because after it storms, right, all of the um, worms and the insects and things that were hidden underground, they come up for air, right? They come up from underneath the ground, right? So it brings something to the surface. It brings something to your attention, right? So this energy of feeling overwhelmed and underserved is trying to show you something about yourself, about the efforts that you're putting into, right? About what it is that you're investing. It's trying to serve you a perspective, a point of view. You may gain a new idea from this area, right? Again, this is a general message, so take it how it resonates. It's going to look different for each of you. But again, this feeling of being stretched out, of being overwhelmed, of feeling like you're giving more than you're receiving is just the energy, or it's just a lesson in what the purpose of this season is, right? What the purpose of this feeling is, right? Something is clearing out. Something is trying to release itself, right? Something is trying to be made clear. Something is trying to be brought to the surface regarding how you're investing, regarding the efforts that you're putting into, regarding the purpose that you're serving, and possibly regarding the reason, maybe the intention behind what you're investing in. Does it truly fulfill you, or are you truly just looking to receive something from it, right? Or are you looking to offer something towards which you are looking to receive something from, right? I hope that made sense. Give me something on this Knight of Cups, because I just feel as if there's something that you're not seeing. The Queen of Swords, the intention, right? The intention with why you're going through this process, why you're going through this storm, why you are experiencing this feeling of being overwhelmed, why you are experiencing this feeling of being stretched beyond your limits, being I don't know, maybe you feel like you have too much responsibility at work. Maybe you feel like you have too much responsibility around the house. Maybe you feel like you are the only one carrying your relationships, right? So again, it's going to resonate for each of you differently, but it's definitely bringing to your attention what you're investing into, who you're investing into, how you're investing into that, and how it makes you feel also. Like, what are you receiving? What are you hoping to receive from it? And it's just going to bring you a new perspective regarding that whole situation in general, right? So clarify, Harvest. It feels like there's so much more left in that message, but I don't want the reading to be too long. Okay, clarify, Harvest. Okay. Harvest is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Cups, with the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck, right? So definitely your efforts will be rewarded, right? You will receive the effort that you pour into whatever this is, right? You will receive that idea. You will receive that sense of clarity. You will receive that sense of purpose. Things will be brought to the balance, right? This is balance. This is union. This is things coming into union. I don't know what other word to use there, but things are coming together, right? The effort that you put into, the things that you invest in slowly but surely throughout the season, consistently, without a waver in your faith, right, will bring you that sense of fulfillment, ultimate fulfillment that you are seeking to receive from it. But you also just have to be mindful that in order for you to experience that sense of cleansing, that sense of purification, you have to experience again, the storm that brings that clearing, right? That brings that sense of clarification, that brings things up from the surface, the thing that clarifies everything, right? So again, try not to be so discouraged within this portion of your journey. Try not to be discouraged within this moment of your season, because even if it does feel like you're being overwhelmed, if it does feel like you are putting in more effort than what you are receiving, then maybe you need to be more mindful about how you're investing into the things that you're trying to bring to life. Maybe you need to be more mindful about what it is that you are truly investing in, right? And again, be more disciplined and committed to what it is that you feel will bring you this sense of fulfillment, what it is that you feel that you need to bring you that sense of clarity that you're seeking, right? So if you feel like you are putting in too much effort into a job, maybe talk to your manager or supervisor, right, and let them know that you feel like you are putting in more effort than what your job description provides. Or maybe if you feel like you're putting in more effort into a relationship, maybe have that conversation with the person to let them know that you feel as if you are pulling the weight, you're carrying the connection, right? So again, however that's going to resonate for you, it's going to resonate differently for each of you. But clarify giving and receiving. The Emperor with the Death card, right? So definitely your dreams are made to come true, right? Things are being forgiven at this time, right? You will be rewarded for the effort that you are putting into, right? And whatever this effort is going to transform your life. It is going to place you into a new existence that you have been working towards, right? So again, it's that clearing out, it's things being brought to the surface. But in order for things to be brought to the surface, right, you have to first experience that cleansing, that clearing, that purification process, right? So that you are in the place to receive that sense of clarity, right? Because you can't receive clarity in a place that is not cleansed, right? So yes, that is, again, whatever it is that you are trying to bring to life, whatever you are putting effort towards, whatever you are trying to clear or cleanse, or whatever you're trying to bring to life, your efforts will be paid for, right? You will be, the universe will, or God will provide what it is that you are trying to create, right? I'm also being drawn to like the balancing of the mind and the heart, right? A balancing, right here. She's my aunt. She's um, balancing her heart against the weight of a feather, right? So again, try not to carry so much emotional stress within yourself, right? Try to incorporate ways to kind of relieve yourself of mental stress, relieve yourself of emotional stress, and to relieve yourself of physical and spiritual stress as well, right? You have to be mindful of your whole entity, right? Not just your body, not just your mind, not just your heart, right? But the whole entity that you possess within itself, right? So definitely be mindful about how you're carrying what it is that you're trying to bring to life, right? Are you feeling some type of resentment for having to put in these efforts, or are you doing so out of a sense of joy and fulfillment because you just enjoy going through the process of growth, right, and expansion, right? It's not always a pleasurable experience, but it is a rewarding experience, right? Going to the gym is not always pleasurable, but it is rewarding, right? Eating healthy, eating vegetables and fruits all the time is not always it is for some people, right? Again, going to the gym is a rewarding process for some people, but, or an enjoyable process for some people, but not for everyone. So just keep that in mind. Like, are you doing something for the reward, or are you doing something for the enjoyment of the process? So let's pull 4 cards, one card for what we can learn as the major lesson of this reading, One card for what we can create regarding the message of this reading. One card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this reading. And one card for what we can innovate as new cycles and habits to continue our growth and expansion regarding this reading. Ooh. One card for what we can learn. One card for what we can learn. Growth and blame, right? Again, so being mindful of the journey itself, being mindful of the lessons itself, right? Being mindful of the purpose itself, and being mindful not to make yourself feel guilty for what it is that you're experiencing, right? Not carrying the weight of this process too heavily, right? Not carrying the intention of this process too heavily, right? But again, being mindful to keep your mind as light as a feather, right? Keep your heart as light as a feather. Keep your spirit as light as a feather, and to keep your physical body as light as a feather, right? Again, however that feels for you, right? However that looks for you, however you experience that, right? So again, keep in mind that growth is a painful but rewarding process, right? And it's not always painful, but it does require expansion and stretching and molding and shaping, right? And that can be very uncomfortable, right? So again, think about when you're baking a cake, right? Or when you are making bread, right? You have to mold the dough, right? You have to prepare the dough so that and then you have to, after you mold it and you knead it, right? You have to give it space to let it rest before you put it in the oven so that it has time to rise to, or it has the space and the opportunity to rise towards its fullest potential, right? So again, be mindful about the efforts that you're putting in towards your growth, and have grace for yourself throughout this process, because life is life. One card for what we can create. Adversity within success, right? You can create that sense of enjoyment for how you experience the overcoming of these challenges that you're going through, right? How you can create this sense of gratefulness for your achievement in your growth, for your achievement in the things that you choose to learn, for your overcoming of the things that you have had to experience, right? Give yourself grace, give yourself forgiveness, and give yourself thanks for having to experience the things that you have overcome, right? Just create a sense of appreciation for the things that you have to go through to get to where you're going, right? One card for what we can meditate on. Abundance and denial, right? So again, meditate on how you truly view what abundance looks like, right? Again, abundance comes in the form of currency, right? It's a never-ending currency, right? So abundance comes in the form of wealth, right? That's time, that's knowledge, that's awareness, that's effort, that's attention, that's peace, that's hope, that's faith, right? That's your safety, that's your security, that's your finances, right? Again, so abundance comes in more than one form, right? It's not simply a physical thing, although it is a physical manner within this existence, but abundance comes in more than one form, right? So again, meditate and focus on what it is that you feel like you're creating abundance within, right? Are you creating abundance within your fear because you're consistently feeding your fearful thoughts? Or are you creating an abundance of peace because you are consistently investing in ways to create peace within your life? Are you creating abundance within knowledge, right, within your life because you are consistently trying to learn new things, right? Or are you creating abundance within your life within joy, because you are simply pouring into things that bring you joy and fulfillment, right? So definitely be mindful and meditate on what it is, or in what ways are you creating abundance within this lifetime, right? And one card for what we can innovate. It would fly all the way over there. Change, right? With gratitude at the bottom of the deck again, so that grace, that mercy, that hope, that faith for yourself, right? That forgiveness, or that acceptance within growing and changing, right? Because again, currency is an ebb and flow kind of thing, right? It comes and it goes. It comes and it goes, right? The sun goes up and it goes back down, right? The rain comes down, then it goes back up, right? So again, being mindful about not holding on to things too tightly, right? And creating ways to bring more abundance within different areas, different aspects of your life, right? Think about all the ways in which you can create abundance within your life, and then make a list of all the ways that you can invest in those areas to expand abundance in that area within your life, right? I hope that's making sense. But that is the message that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonated. I know that if you made it to the end of this video, you will find something that is worthy and valuable to you. Have a good one. Bye.